Also, before we get into this movie review of Logan, there will be major spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie, go see it. But without further ado, my name is Logan, and welcome back to another movie review. Okay. This movie was freaking awesome. This movie was one of the best superhero movies I have ever seen in my life. I don't know if it... At first, it topped Spider-Man Homecoming. But then I went to watch Spider-Man Homecoming, and to me, it kind of took it off. Now, I know some people in the comments are going to be like, really? You top Hugh Jackman over Tom Holland only because he's been in 2 movies? He's only been in 1 feature film? But yeah, I do. But listen. The movie Logan was freaking phenomenal. This movie was the best, like, Hugh Jackman movie, the best X-Men movie, the best Wolverine movie, the best everything. Best Patrick Stewart movie. I don't want to hear no Star Trek, no whatever things he's been in, South Park, Family Guy, Ted movies. I don't want to hear any of that. This was their best movie that they've ever made. They've ever been in and made. But, God, the ending. Oh my, see, look. I meant to do these kinds of reviews at the beginning of the year, and we're already through the half the year, and the next year is going to be a big thing. Well, I'm going to have to do big movie reviews. But, okay, so listen, let me, before I talk about the breakdown and say what I want to say about the movie and all, I want to tell you guys how I found, like, when I started watching the X-Men and stuff. Okay, so I think I was turning 15 when I was first getting involved with the X-Men, or I was turning 14, and it was at the time when Days of Future Past, the second Wolverine movie came out when he went to Japan, and then they were making Days of Future Past, and then I heard Apocalypse was coming, so I was like, man, there's a lot of X-Men movies coming up. So I went and searched, and I looked up a bunch of X-Men movies, and at the time, I knew there were X-Men movies made. I just wasn't a big X-Men fan. I liked Professor Xavier, I liked Magneto, I liked Quicksilver, and I loved Wolverine. I loved all of them. I loved Rogue, not the film adaptation one. She's kind of okay, but kind of not. I love Iceman, Pyro, all those guys. I love every one of them. Psylocke, Apocalypse, Mystique, oh my, Jennifer Lawrence. I love them all, but I just was never into it as much as I was into, like, Spider-Man and, like, Ant-Man, Captain America, all them people. It's not because they were in the same universe with the characters that I love. It's just that I was never a big fan of them. I spent more time on Spider-Man than I did on X-Men. But Days of Future Past was coming out, and I was like, you know what? This has time travel. As most of y'all know, I love time travel. It's my favorite sci-fi genre. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go watch this. But before I did, I wanted to start all the way back because people said, whatever happens in this movie is going to change whatever happened in the last few movies. So I was like, okay, so definitely I'm going to have to watch them. And as a child, I watched X-Men The Last Stand, the 3rd movie. Even as a kid, I hated it. After watching Spider-Man 3, and then I went and watched The Last Stand, I was like, so I was thinking, so the first movies of X-Men, the first movies of superhero movies is going to be good, and then the second one's going to be great. It's going to blow up box offices, or is the third one going to be the one that collapses the entire series? So after that, I was kind of being like, oh my, I don't want to go see another superhero movie. And after watching that, I was like, you know what, I'm not going to watch X-Men. But then I heard Days of Future Past was coming out, so I went back, I watched the first X-Men movie, then I watched X-Men 2. X-Men 2 is my favorite one out of, like, the first 3 prequel. And then after that, I went and watched Last Stand again, just so I could refresh my memory, and yet again, I hated it still. And then I watched X-Men Origins Wolverine. Now listen, most of you people will get shocked by this. I actually like the film up until he gets to Stryker's Island, and then he meets the terrible Deadpool that has his mouth showed up and everything. But overall, the first Wolverine movie wasn't that bad up until we got to the island. For me, exactly. Now Gambit, sure, yeah, like people say whatever you want about it. I didn't really like him in that movie. Sabretooth, I'm gonna be straight. I kind of like this Sabretooth more than I did in the 2000 version of the X-Men. The first one, because he barely had any lines. And, like, when you first make if you back then, they didn't know that they were going to make this into a gigantic franchise or nothing. But still, if you want to, you should definitely do that, because in the first X-Men movie, when, like, I can't remember, when they're trying to find Magneto, he's like, Professor Xavier's like, I can't find Magneto, blah, 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 and then after Magneto goes and takes Rogue from, Logan, Professor finally discovers, oh wait a minute, it's his helmet, I can't get inside of his mind. And then in Days of Future, and then in the X-Men First Class, we learn that they built Cerebro together, and his helmet doesn't let telepathy people in. So I'm thinking, what? Like, this is stupid, but whatever. They built it into the franchise later. And so after X-Men Origins Wolverine, I went and watched X-Men First Class. Some people hate it, some people love it. I actually like it. I think it's, to me, I think it's one of the best ones in the prequel. And then, I think, after the First Class, it was the Wolverine, I think. Yeah, I think it was the Wolverine. And it took me a year to go see this movie, because the movie came out in 2013, I think. And then I saw it in 2014, because one reason my mom did not want me to go see this, because I showed her the trailer and she's like, this guy's cutting people with that. I'm like, they're just bleeding. I've seen worse things. I've seen people got shot, exploded. I've seen guts flow out of people's, like, bodies before. Like, what the heck? So, after a while, it came out on TV, so I decided to sit down and watched it. And then it came on after it showed it the first time, and then so I watched it again. I was like, you know what, this is pretty good. And then, that's when Days of Future Past came out, and I saw it, and my god, it is one of my favorite X-Men movies. At the time, it's my favorite X-Men film, besides X-Men 2 and this, but after seeing Logan, so if you want me to put this in chronological order, I like Logan, Days of Future Past, and then X-Men 2. There's nothing wrong with X-Men 2. It's a good sequel, really good story, and really good characters. Days of Future Past, time travel, has some of the best characters in there. You have Beast, you have Magneto, you have Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique, you have past Logan, you have past Charles Xavier with James McAvoy, and you have Quicksilver. Okay, but then after Days of Future Past, they were making... also, in the Wolverine movie, the second one, they were hinting at... even I caught this before I even know what the movie was about. Because in the Wolverine movie, he gets his powers taken away by the Japanese... the business guy, so we can become younger like him. And they were setting that up for the second movie, for them taking away his healing and him being Old Man Logan. And then in Days of Future Past, they were hinting at it a little bit more. And then X-Men Apocalypse came out, and some people hate this movie. I think it's better than X-Men Last Stand. If you're gonna compare this movie to X-Men Last Stand, and you want to rate which one's better, I'm gonna pick X-Men Apocalypse, because even though that movie's kind of terrible, it was still pretty good. I don't care what people say about Jennifer Lawrence being the good guy instead of being the evil Mystique that we all know and love. I personally love it. I love what they did with Storm in that movie. I wish she was a couple more lines in there. My girl, I can't remember, Sidewalks. I wish she was in the movie a little bit more. Whiplash, I'm glad he's back. I mean, Nightcrawler, sorry. I love Nightcrawler in that movie. Angel, hated him in that movie. Magneto was good in that movie. Apocalypse was 50-50. He's better than Angel was. And some of the things they did with Jean Grey and Cyclops, how they became like girlfriend, boyfriend material, how their relationship, and then they tease Wolverine in there. But when I first saw him in that tease, I was like, oh yes, another. And then when I watched it, I was like, wait a minute, how the heck did he get there? Because at the end of Days of Future Past, Mystique rescued him and stopped him from going to Stryker. But it's like, whatever. But some people, and I discovered this after watching Days of Future Past and other time travel movies, because they had a big time travel marathon like a couple months ago. And Days of Future Past was on one of them, and I realized, and actually went back and read some comics, and I read some time travel information, because I was researching for Rick and Morty Season 3, and it said, whatever you do in the past, you may alter the past, but you also, some of the things you do in the past will change, but whatever you have that's important during, like, your lifetime will stick the same. Like in Back to the Future, like, Marty's parents don't recognize that their son was the person that went back in time and got them together. But it's not supposed to, because it's supposed to stay on course, but, it's like, whatever. But yeah, so, finally, we get the teaser for X-Men Apocalypse was Wolverine's blood, and I'm already thinking I was putting the pieces from the last X-Men, the last Wolverine movie. Was like, oh my god. So then I heard that they're making X-Men Logan. I was hearing that they were making Old Man Logan. I was like, yes. Oh my gosh! So if you've never read Old Man Logan comic, you need to read it because it's one of the best comic books that you will ever read in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in the Marvel comics, or in the DC comics. It's freaking awesome. Okay, so now that we get all that, and you kind of got what I like about the last X-Men movies, let's talk about Logan. So, our grandma usually takes us out to go watch movies, or anyone that wants to go watch these movies, and we're having like this big debate. I wanted to go watch Power Rangers because Power Rangers was out at the time, and Kong Skull Island was out at the time, and Logan was out, Ghost in the Shell was out, and then it came down to this big conclusion. Me, Noah, and Robert wanted to go watch it. Robert wanted to see Logan and Kong and Power Rangers. Noah did not want to see Kong, and he did not want to see Power Rangers. He wanted to see Logan. And our grandma and our mom was telling us not to go see Logan, because my mom was like, she's not going to go watch this, because she already watched the trailers with me, all of them, the red band ones, and she's like, no, you guys can go watch it, my mom is not going to go watch it. And I was like, fine, whatever, we'll pick something. But finally Noah was giving he was being a real frigger about it, so our grandma was like, finally, you know what, fine, I'll give it a try. And here's the worst part, we saw it when, it was the end of March, because this movie came out on March 3rd, and we saw it on, March 30th or March 29th. I can't remember when we went and watched it, but it was, at the end of March. So, I'm trying my best not to watch reviews. I'm trying my best not to watch more trailers. I'm doing my best not to hear what anybody's saying about it at school, because I'm sitting here going, la 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 la. I literally had to listen what the teacher was saying during class when people were saying, psst, Logan, da da da. I'm like, la 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 la. I don't want to hear it. So finally, we go watch it. The movie opens up, and Logan is sleeping in his limo. He's getting, and then he wakes up after, hearing noises outside. These people are trying to steal his rims, tires, whatever. And he steps out and he's like, dude, guys, can you guys quit? I'm trying to sleep here. They shoot him, and then I love how it opens up with the title, with him just getting shot and he's lying on the ground. You can see the wound and it says Logan. And it the beginning of the movie kind of foreshadows how the end of the movie's going to be, with Logan lying on the ground, blood all over him and stuff. So then Logan gets back up and he's like, guys, please, you don't want to do this. And then they pull out more guns, they pull out knives and stuff, and he's like, fine, you really want to do this. He starts to take out his claws, and I hear my grandma go what the heck? I'm like, I told you what the movie's about on the way here. And then me and my brother at that moment were just sitting here laughing, kicking chairs, because when Logan's claws come out, they're this long. It's like a little kitty. It's like, wow. So it's funny when they first came out, and then the dudes start beating him up. They kick him on the ground. He slices one of the gun parts off, and then they put him on the ground. They put a shotgun to his head, about to blow his brain out. Finally, he lets out his famous Wolverine yell. He starts cutting off, slice, slice, slice. The first 3 minutes of the movie, he's just cutting people. He just goes, ah! It's so intense, and I loved it. And all I hear is people kicking chairs along with me. I'm just sitting here going, because this movie feels like you can clap, laugh, cry, whatever. And it was like that when I went to Spider-Man Homecoming, and I feel like it's gonna be like that in Infinity War next year. So I'm gonna to bring some tissue. Anyway. He kills he kills 3-5 people, and then the last 2 people, they start to leave. He goes to a gas station, buys a new tux, and then he changes, and the music in that moment is so cool, and I love it. You can see all the veins and all the bruises and scars that have been left over from the past few years or months or however long this has been. And I love where he's pushing out, but he's struggling to push out the bullets and everything. And then, the one thing I will criticize about this is when he puts on the new clean shirt, none of the blood stain gets on it. And I'm thinking, I know you can heal kind of, and you kind of can't, but still, logic. Anyway, we see a couple new clips of him driving around, driving people in. We can see his license in there. We hear over the radio that they're talking about something that happened up in New York at the Manchester incident. And I'm going to come back to that in a minute. And then Logan cuts it off. We see new clips of these like prom guys standing up in the limo saying USA. And then finally we cut ahead to this funeral shot, and then that's when we meet Gabriella. Gabriella comes by and she's like, the Wolverine? She's like, I knew it was you, and he's just like walking away, and he's like, please, I need your help, and he's like, get the away from me. And in this movie, also, I forgot to include Deadpool. I saw Deadpool before I went and watched Logan. That was the movie that we went, me, Noah, and my girlfriend, and both my parents, we went and watched on the day it came out. And you know when it came out? Valentine's Day. So me and my girlfriend were sitting there, and the funniest part was, I was begging her to go see Deadpool, because I was like, I'm like, he acts like a ninja, he looks like a ninja, but he does, I mean, when, I did, scratch that, he looks like a ninja, he doesn't act like a ninja. You need to watch this. And I didn't show her any trailers, I just said, this is a superhero movie that you and me need to see. And, during his fight on the highway, he's like, it freezes time, and he's like, so you're probably thinking, my boyfriend said that this was a superhero movie, but that guy just turned into a kebab. And me and her just laughing out loud, and we're like hugging each other, and like, that's exactly what we were just talking about. Anyway, back in Logan. Phone. Shut up. Okay. Okay, so the movie finally, you get to the scene, but in this movie, Hugh Jackman is dropping every F-bomb throughout every single, 5 seconds of the film. He's dropping more curse words than Deadpool was in his film, which I absolutely love. Anyway, he starts to walk away, she starts screaming and yelling, and then we see Laura jump into a car. They start driving off, and then we get to the hospital in the next scene. We get Alexander Pierce. He is my second favorite character in this movie. It's not because he has a robot arm, it's just his accent, how he, acts through all the characters, him fighting every single character and stuff. He's freaking awesome. I don't know the dude that plays as him, but he was phenomenal. I would love to meet him one day and shake his bloody hand. Such as Patrick Stewart, Daphne Keane, and Hugh Jackman as well. Anyway, he gets to the hospital. He's buying drugs outside it, and Logan is buying medicine and drugs and stuff from this guy to give medicine to Charles later. Anyway, he gets in his limo. Pierce jumps in. He's like, "And all my eyes, the Wolverine." And he's just like, "Who the are you?" And he's like, "Well, I'm looking for." He's like, and this made me so sad. And he said, "I heard you were with Phoenix," and I'm thinking, "Oh my gosh." But it's like, how the heck did he know about Phoenix? Because in Days of Future Past, none of that happened. But the Phoenix was an X-Men Apocalypse. So, and there's another X-Men prequel coming called X-Men Dark Phoenix. So it's probably the Phoenix is gonna come in that. So. Anyway, he's like, is this woman following you around? She's asking you about taking some girl, and he's like, I don't know what no girl. And he's like, well, I'm not looking for you, Wolvie. I'm looking for someone. She stole something from me. I need to get it back. And he's like, I don't care who you are. You get out of here. And he's like, I'm a big fan, by the way. And in that moment, I'm just thinking, yeah, me too. That's something I would say. I would be like, I would get in the car like Alexander Pierce would, and he'd be like, Logan be like, who the are you? I'm like, I'm a fan. Just wanted to say that and get out. Anyway, so then he starts to drive out to the Mexican border. He gets a phone call talking about buying a yacht. He gets screwed over. Then he heads out towards the Mexican border. He gets out there, and then we meet Caliban. Now, I did not know who this dude was in the trailer. They never showed him until, he pulled the pins off the grenades in the trailers. So, the day before we go see Logan, I'm sitting here, I'm watching a couple of X-Men films, like the latest ones. I'm watching Deadpool, X-Men Apocalypse, Days of Future Past, the Wolverine, getting all, my memory fresh about Logan. And at the same time, I was watching a big, Wolverine gigantic X-Men marathon, so I could get, everything. And then when I was watching X-Men Apocalypse, boom! Caliban's there. He was the guy that was sniffing, Mystique would take Nightcrawler to, asking about mutants. His powers, he can, smell and locate any mutant over the planet, so he's in this movie, and he's telling Logan, saying, I can smell the adamantium in your skeleton, it's poisoning you, that's why you're dying, that's why you can't heal, and he's looking at all the medicine and drugs that Logan brought him, and he's like, this won't keep saving him, we're gonna have to do something to prevent it. He's like, why do you think I'm trying to get the boat? Blah, yada, yada, and he smells the adamantium bullet that's inside Logan's pocket. Or maybe that was later in the film. He smells the adamantium bullet later. So anyway, Logan goes out to like the water tower that's been tipped over, and my God, when I see Charles Xavier just sitting there, like he's turned like this, and when I hear Logan coming, he just turns down. I see the beard, I see the hair. I'm like, oh, I saw you die once, and even though that was a crappy movie, it was still sad to see you die. But in this movie, I knew that Xavier was gonna die. Anyway, and Patrick Stewart in this movie was dropping F-bombs and everything. He was a masterpiece in this movie. I don't think the movie would have been... The movie was going to be overall good anyway, but the movie would not be the movie without Patrick Stewart in it. So anyway, he's talking, he's saying, F you, Logan, blah, yada, yada. And then, like, he starts to have a seizure, and, like, we see Caliban in the kitchen, he's about to, like, cut off his hand, and, like, Logan finally puts a syringe in him, and then, like, he gets back to normal, and he's like, Logan, I'm sorry. He puts him in the bed, and the water tower is supposed to symbolize like Cerebro, because in the older X-Men films, whenever he's in it, he puts on the helmet, you can see all the blue and red lights. But in this movie, there's like holes inside of it that appear like dim lights in it, and it's like, yeah. But just seeing him lying there in that bed, just being like crying and he cries throughout the entire film, and then finally when Logan reaches out before he leaves, Xavier's like, there's another mutant out there that's just like you, Logan. And he's like, mutants are gone. They're dead. They've been dead for years. And he's like, Logan, what did you do? And then, like, as he leaves, he's just screaming. I'm thinking, what the heck happened? So then, the next few scenes, this is when Caliban sniffs the adamantium bullet before Wolverine goes out. But as he's doing, as that's going on in my head, I'm thinking, wait, Manchester incident, this new information, I'm trying to put the pieces to myself. So anyway, he smells the adamantium bullet, Logan starts to leave, and he has on these glasses because his vision's starting to wear off. And then, I was thinking through this next scene, these girls in the limo, one of them pulls down her, like, dress, and you can see her tits and stuff. And I was thinking, oh, that's when nudity was coming in, because in like other X-Men film, like nudity with like Mystique, she runs around like she walks around with button nude, but it's like blue paint and CGI over it. But in Days of Future Past, Wolverine came out butt naked. Nothing we didn't see his tinkle dunk. And same thing happened in Deadpool, but that had a number of reasons why it was rated R. So I was thinking in this moment, I was like, oh, so this is why it's rated R, because I was thinking, are we gonna get like another butt cheek of Wolverine or something, or like some, I don't know. Anyway, they show her tits, he gets a call, and he meets up at, like, this hotel for a pickup, and he sees Gabrielle with, Daphne Keane, which is X-23, or Laura, and Daphne Keane, I want to give you a round of applause in this movie. You jabbed everyone. Everyone, but you especially, Daphne Keane. You nailed it. I don't know how old she is, I think she's like 12, 13. She nailed her role in this movie perfectly. Anyway, he gets in there, she's like talking about the girl, blah yada yada. She gives him money to like smuggle her out towards the border into North Dakota. He's like, nah, I don't want to do it. She offers him money, he's like, no. He takes the money anyway. Laura gets in his car, and he starts to drive back home later, and then like, Pierce shows up the next day, like, Gabriella, she came looking for you last night, blah, yada, yada. I went to her. The girl wasn't there. Do you know where he is? And I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, he heads back out to see where Gabrielle is to return the money, because he's like, I don't want to get involved with any of this. When he shows up, boom, Gabrielle's dead. He's like, where's the girl? And he's like, I'm getting out of here before anything. So he starts to leave, and then when he gets back, Caliban walks out there, and he's like, something with Charles, blah, yada, yada, and then they hear something. Logan starts to walk around. Caliban gets stuff out of the trunk. He gets a bag and a ball, and he's like, what the heck? And then, boom, Pierce shows back up, and Laura, like, snaps, like, what's it called? Knocks him out. Sorry, I did not know that for a minute. I'm stupid. Knocks him out, and, like, she throws the bar at Wolverine, like, and before he gets to ready to attack, Charles comes out like, Logan, this is Laura, the mutant I've been talking about. They go in, they have a cereal. Logan tells Caliban to take Pierce out there, put him in a ditch or something. Anyway, they're having breakfast. Logan's trying to deny it, trying to figure out who this girl is, yada yada yada. And then all of a sudden, Caliban is putting Alexander in the ditch, and then when he shows back up, boom, he's like, yup, nope. And then we see the Reavers come out, and then when Logan sees on the monitors, the security cameras, that they're coming, he starts to pack up Charles and everything. He just leaves Laura there. And anyway, so further, whenever they try to escape later, he's like, Charles is like, he'll be back for you, don't worry, he's coming, yada yada yada. And then as they're trying to escape, they get ambushed. Logan finally gets out, and Pierce is like, I know you're hiding the girl somewhere, yada yada yada. And he's like, where's Caliban? He's like, the same place you told me to leave him, to leave me. And he just like pulls out the claws, they knock him out. They send a couple guys in to get X-23, Laura. And then the next few shots, she's just eating her cereal. She's looking at the guys like, yeah, come on here. Come see what happens. All of a sudden, we hear a scream. She comes out, rolls this dude's head out, and I'm like... Because when she rolls the head out, it reminds me of that scene in Until Dawn when Chris... Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it yet, but it went... If you die as playing as Chris, one of the winner girls will roll your head towards the door, or they'll just, like, cut it off. Or it's like the guy that made the game, whenever the flamethrower guy, when he gets his head cut off, it's like that. Anyway, the Reavers start to attack her, Logan, and I got so mad at this part because even though Logan drops F-bombs like every 5 minutes in the movie, they cut out this part because it was in one of the Red Band trailers whenever X-23 just starts going nuts, killing people, Laura she's stretching people, and in the trailer, Logan's like, holy, but in this movie, he's like, holy, and I'm like, what? What the heck? Why'd they cut that out? Anyway, she starts going on a killing spree. Laura's just going at it. She starts to run throughout the warehouse. She's doing these awesome, like, sneak attacks. Finally, she gets out. Pierce grabs the harpoon gun, shoots her through her tit. I'm like, no, that has to hurt. But I'm like, oh, wait a minute. She's got vibrate. She's got adamantium and healing power. She's got this. No, she's got this all under control. Anyway, they trying to put the cuffs on her. Logan just, stop. He starts stretching people. And then finally, when he goes to, like, they pick up Laura again, and he, like, starts to rest after getting shot. He runs towards her, and then he sees her claw come out of there. And I was like, oh my gosh. Because I don't think they showed this in the trailers. They did not show Laura's foot claw, because I was thinking in the comics, she has 2 claws coming out of her hand on each side. So she has 4 claws. And then she has 2, she has 1 inside of her shoe, inside of her foot. But when it showed up, I was screaming like this ago. I was like, So she just freaking... She puts her foot through a person's head and pulls him down. Logan's all in shock like I am. I'm like, what the heck is going on? So anyway, big killing spree. Logan rushes back to the limo, trying to save Charles, but they ambush. He stabs the guy through his eyeballs. Laura does this sick kick backflip onto the limo. They start having this big car chase through, like, motorcycles, and then they get to the train. Boom! They start to head out, and then we get... Caliban gets, like, taken by the Reavers, and he gets, like, just shown, like, that his weakness is the sun. His, like, face gets all burned up and stuff. So he's getting blackmailed to trace down Logan, Laura, and Charles. We get to the gas station. Logan's like, who is this girl, blah, yada, yada. He gets Gabrielle's phone. She was, like, she was a doctor in this place that they made Laura and other mutants. And she started documenting everything, and then we get to see different other mutants, with some, like, similar powers, like Iceman, Storm's Lightning, Earthbending, like Jean Grey, stuff like all that. And then we get to this cage that says X-24, a mutant that's not like any other mutant. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I was thinking in my head, I was like, wait a minute. Who the heck is X-24? I'm like, is it the Sinister? Because the Sinister was also teased in X-Men Apocalypse, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, dude, the Sinister. And then I was thinking, oh, wait a minute, Logan had a son. Because I forgot. Because I knew Logan had a daughter, but I forgot he had a son too, so I'm thinking, oh, is that his son in there? Oh, yeah. So anyway, she's documenting, they lose the battery. They go inside the store. Laura picks up this energy drink, starts to drink it. She flips over the guy that looks like Quicksilver. They start to head out, and they start to drive. They get to I can't remember where it was. They went to a casino, and then they got, like, haircuts, disguises, and stuff. And then Charles and Laura are sitting in the room watching an old movie. It's a Western film, which is what this movie is based on, a Western film. Logan goes out to get, like, a truck because they need a new car because theirs has been shot up and everything. But finally, they get to the bar. He gets to a bar, and this is where they were going to put Sabretooth in this movie, just as a little cameo. But they thought that the director thought that this movie already had too many characters and stuff, so he was like, nah. But he's in the bar, he's looking at the comics that Laura has, and it has, like, him, Rogue, all the other X-Men, and it has these coordinates to, Eden, and he's, like, looking, and on the letter that has all his money in it, it has the same coordinates as when he's like, no. He heads back to the motel to check up on them. Suddenly, bing! Seizures happening again. Charles is having another seizure. Logan rushes up while he's just strangling. And this reminds me of an X-Men The Last Stand where, like, he's, like, on the ceiling while, like, Jean Grey's lifting up her house, turning into the Phoenix and stuff. Where he puts his claws through the roof and he's just, like, climbing. That's what he does in this hallway. And that and the scene where Charles has to go to the restroom is, like, my favorite scene, some of my favorite scenes in this movie. But I have another favorite scene that's later in the movie. Anyway, he starts to go through the hallway, and one of the funny things about this is, the guys are pointing guns at Laura and Charles, and they don't even see Logan, but when the guy's at the doorway trying to watch over, he doesn't move his head, he moves his eyes, he's like, oh no, and he can't do anything, he's just standing there. Logan just putting his claws through people's skulls, everything, like, the fighting in this movie, the action, and the kills in this movie are brutal, and I love it. Like, this is the Wolverine movies that I, like, wanted as a little kid. Like, Wolverine is like this in the comics. In the 1990 X-Men series that they had on, Fox Kids or whatever. Anyway, he gets there. Laura and him work together. They heal Charles. Then they get down to the casino. We see people are all, like, rising up, being like, what the heck? And Charles is just crying. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm feeling for this guy. I'm like, oh. Because it pains me to see him in this way, because he's never like this. Anyway, they start to drive out. They get in this weird, like, car crash area with all these horses. Logan's like, we need to get out of here. Look, Charles is like, we need to help them. He's like, somebody will come along. He's like, somebody already has come along. Logan gets out to help. Nothing's going right, and then Charles uses his mind control powers to get all the horses in. This is when we meet the family that helps them out later, and they're like, thank you for saving all our horses and stuff. We would like you to invite us to our home, and I'm already like, no, this isn't what's going to happen. Because in the trailers, I thought these guys were mutants, because, I don't know, but anyway, they get in, and they're like, let's go, you guys can stay with us, have dinner, yada yada yada, and they're like, Logan's like, no, we need to get out of here. Charles is like, but they're inviting us a place to stay and eat for the night. Laura's like, I'm hungry too. I'm sitting here going like, no, I'm with Logan on this one. I'm like, no, you're being hunted by the government right now. You are going to get stretched if you go with them, especially them, because you know what? They're black, and I'm not being racist here, but the black people always die in horror movies or any action movie at all, unless you're Samuel L. Jackson, Michael Jordan, or Eddie Murphy. And LeBron James, all this good stuff. I'm not being racist, I'm just kidding. Anyway, we hear them on the radio. It's talking about another incident, and it covers back on the Manchester incident with 400 people injured and 30 people dead, I believe. And I'm already thinking, before we hear what she has to say left on the news, it clicks, boom! And I was like, if it says New York, that means that because in the Old Man Logan comics, the reason they're in a post-apocalyptic universe is because Hydra took over the Avengers and S.H.I.E.L.D. and the world and stuff, and like the Red Skull's taken over the entire world basically, and then Mysterio hypnotized and got inside Logan's head, and he and like other vicious characters went out and just killed people, killed every single mutant, almost every single human as well, and that's why like in this movie they kind of turned it a little bit. Because this comes back later, because we see a newspaper later of it saying about energy drinks and food with, like, stuff in it that says, like, don't feed your kids and stuff, don't feed the mutants. And this comes back later, because whenever they are at dinner, they're talking and they're like, what did you do for a living? He was like, I was a lumberjacker, I was a wrestler. And then Charles was like, I was a teacher, I was a professor. And they're like, was any of you guys married? And he was like, I wasn't, but he was. And in a deleted scene, that scene actually went further in, because when he says he had one, he said he had one, but then he killed her. So anyway, Logan and the father's already like, we're gonna go out here. He's like, can you help me without this? I got a problem out here that I need to fix it. He's like, yeah, sure. Laura connects with like the son and all, yada yada yada. Logan takes Charles up the stairs and he's like, this is what life looks like. You should take a moment and enjoy it. Finally, they go out here, they fix up the thing, but as he's talking, he says, this farm supplies like all the energy drinks, the food and stuff, and I'm connecting the dots. I'm like, wait a minute, what? So you're making, like, they don't know what they're making, but secretly, they're making food and drinks and products and stuff that they're feeding to the public and mutants, and that's what's killing all of them. That's why, because when Laura drinks, I'm like, wait a minute, why is she not getting affected? And then in the documentaries, when Logan watches when he watches more of the videos, it says that these mutants are not just mutants. They're half human, half mutant. And I'm thinking, oh, that's why Logan, because they're fully mutants, not humans. But Laura is half human, half mutant, so that's why she's not getting infected. So maybe Laura could actually live longer, maybe even forever, like Deadpool, because Deadpool's half mutant, half human too. Like, he heals, but he can feel pain, but he doesn't have vibranium and adamantium in his skeleton and all. But maybe they both could live, like, forever, since they're not, like fully mutant. Anyway, they stumble upon all these guys that are trying to, like, shut down the family's, like, production anyway. They head back home, and Charles is, like, laying there in the bed, and he thinks he hears Logan come in, and God, this scene, I knew this was coming. I knew it. He's talking about the Manchester incident, and he's like, this is the happiest moment I've been in, like, a long time, Logan. He's like, I don't deserve it. What I did, that was all my fault. And it cuts to this black figure, and I'm like, this dude's got elvish ears. Look at his haircut. I don't care if you're trying to make this thing look like Logan. I'm sitting here going like, no. This is not Logan. Finally, Charles turns around. X-24 puts his hand on Charles' chest and sing, your claws, and you see blood coming out of his mouth. I'm like, no! Laura freaks out, starts killing. The son comes in, hits X-24 with a bat. Does nothing. He kills the boy. I'm like, no! No! Mother comes in there. X-24 is carrying Laura, shoots him with a shotgun in the eye. He starts to regenerate, kills her. Finally, Logan and the daddy show up. The Reavers are parked outside. Here come these a-holes driving up to come beat up Logan and the father. They get in. The wife's like, stay in there, James. He goes up there, gets stretched. He falls down the stairs. Logan starts to head back up. And then finally, X-24 come face to face. I'm thinking, oh, this is why they look similar and stuff, because it's from his same DNA as Laura is. Anyway, he's sitting there looking like, what the heck? He's like, Laura? He's like, help me! Like, even though she's not speaking or anything, she's just screaming and crying. He runs back up there, checking some on Charles. Charles is there just gasping. He picks Charles up and he's like, it wasn't me. It was me. So I think he was, in that moment, I think it was him reflecting to being like, Charles, that wasn't me, that was not me. And it kind of was like the Manchester incident as well. Anyway, they get back outside. They had this big debate, the brutal and everything. Caliban takes out the pins, kills himself, and then we get introduced to Dr. Rice. This a-hole comes in, and he starts to orchestrate, and only X-24 responds to him. Anyway, the a-holes show up. They think that this guy's Logan. They start to beat him up. Suddenly, he starts to kill them all. And then he's like, come, 24. And then, like, Logan puts Charles in the truck, and he's like, boat. He's like, what? And he's like, Logan, you still have time. Then Charles dies. I'm sitting here going like, no, I start to cry. I'm trying not to cry at all. Finally, Logan starts to stretch X-24. He's like, who are you? And he's like, X-24 does not say anything. They start doing this whole thing. They put their claws together, and I was thinking through the trailers, I was like, is that Laura being mind-controlled? But I never counted the claws, which I probably should have, because in that moment, there are 12 claws pointing at each other. Anyway, they have this big fight. the daddy comes by, drives X-24 into a tractor, spikes him, shoots him, and he tries to shoot Logan, but he dies and he has no ammo. Finally, Logan picks up Laura, they take him back, and when Laura looks inside the bed of the truck, she sees Charles' dead body. She starts to scream, and in that moment, I'm like, yep, I feel you. They start to drive out. Next scene. Now listen, I miss half the scene because I try never to do this. I drink a lot of Coke, and I eat a lot of popcorn when I go watch a movie, and I did not want to miss a single scene in this movie. Because this movie I've been waiting for a very long time. But I did not miss this part. So they go out, they go by this lake, they bury Charles, and in that moment, it feels like The Last of Us, like the scene where Joel has Sarah, and they're like running, they get shot by one of the fireflies, and then you see Sarah gasping and panting, coughing up blood, and then she dies. Logan's holding up Charles, crying, and then they bury it, and then the next scene, you see, like, he's, like, taking, like, swings and stuff. I'm crying here, going, because I don't want to see Charles die anymore. And Hugh Jackman's facial expressions in this moment, like every moment in this movie, he starts out looking all clean and fresh, but every single time he gets in a fire accident, his hair he combs his hair when he gets to, like, the casino. But after this fight, his hair's all poofy up, his beard's all raised up. There's, like, more scars and, like, more, like, tissue out. His veins are popping out. And, like, he's coughing up blood. He's, like, he's struggling to walk more. Like, every moment he's walking after this last fight that he had with Charles and X-24, it feels like he's about to die. Anyway, I head out. But when I came back in, I pick up Logan's having this big, like, he wakes up in the doctors. They walk out. They get back in the car. So I'm going to fill you back in. So, listen, I went back and I watched the movie about 5 more times. I've seen the movie about 12 times. Like the same reasons I've seen Spider-Man Homecoming. I've seen it about 20 times already. So anyway, what I missed was, after they buried Charles, Laura's looking at the grave. Logan can't get the truck started. He starts smashing up the car and everything, blah, blah, blah. He starts to pass out. Laura takes him to the doctor. The doctor's like, your skeleton is kind of poisoning you and everything. He's like, yeah, I know about that. He's like, I've never met a mutant like you before. And he's like, I thought I'd never get the chance. And he's like, yeah, don't be it, blah, blah, blah. And then it gets to my favorite scene in the entire movie. Anywho, gets to my favorite scene in the movie. He gets in the car and he's like, Laura, I don't know how you got me here, but thank you. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, yeah. Wait a minute, you can talk? You can talk? What the, has all this, in the last 3,000 miles, and she starts, and when she spoke Spanish, I remember, because after I watch X-Men Apocalypse, I'm about to go to bed, lay down, I watch on my phone, it comes to my recommended list, there's something about Logan, I was like, I don't want to watch it, I click on it, and it's an interview about Daphne Keane, how she got her role, and during one of her interviews, it was the scene where they're in the car, and she was talking to the director, she's like, can I improvise, going back and forth with the Spanish and speaking English scene, and he was like, yeah, go for it. So during the interview, she's just screaming out, and he's like, what, shut the fuck. He's like, she starts to say the names of, like, all her friends, and he's like, who are they? She pulls out the comics, and she's like, Yema, and he's like, no, this is a long way. I'm not taking you to South Dakota. She punches him, and I'm like, oh, shoot, and he's like, don't hit me. And I'm not going to take you somewhere that's not real. And he's like, fine, you want to go to Fantasyland? Let's go to Fantasyland. They start to drive off. And also, that scene where they're driving in the truck before they go to bury Charles, it feels like that scene in The Last of Us, which is actually my favorite scene in the entire game, is when Joel and Ellie first get the truck from Bill. They drove off through the town, you see the debris and everything, and it cuts that country music. They're trying to get ambushed by the car thieves and stuff. Anyway, back to the main point. Logan almost drives off the road, and she's like, he's like, you're tired. And he's like, yep, but I'm fine. He's like, no, the professor told me, and he's like, what are you telling me? He's like, that you're in pain and agony. He didn't want me to say this, but you're dying. And he's like, yep. Anyway, she pulls him over. He's like, what did you do that for? And he's like, you need to sleep. And he's like, I'm not sleeping. She pulls him over. He starts to lay down on her. She gets up, gets in the driving seat, like Short Round from Temple of Doom. Anyway, next scene, she gets to, like, the spot where all her friends have been camped out waiting for her. Logan gets out of the car, straggling, he's coughing up blood, yada yada yada. They pull him up there. They start to talk, and he's like, yeah, you're with your friends now. And he's like, yep, South Dakota's right up there. Do what you need to do. This black kid with the lightning powers, he has this little action figure of the old 90s version of Wolverine, and I thought that was so cute. I was like, oh. Anyway, next morning, he wakes up, he's got this shave that they gave him, his old classic Wolverine shave. He starts to cuss him out, yada yada yada. Later, the scene, Laura's like, I want you to come with me, and he's like, no, I've done so much, I'm not doing this anymore. He's like, I don't care, I don't know what Charles told you about me, whatever he said, or whatever you think I am, that's not me anymore. He's like, I'm not going with you, because whatever happens to me, bad, always happens to me and the people I love. And he's like, all the people that made us who we are, we're weapons, we're animals. Anyway, he sleeps through. Next morning he wakes up, all the kids are gone. They left him this green medicine that they healed him up with the first day. They head out. He looks out through the binoculars where they were heading out towards the other day. He sees a bunch of Reaver trucks coming by. I'm thinking, oh no. Here we go, here comes the big battle. Here we go, here we go. Anyway, he takes the bag. On the note it says, don't take all, take half of the dose. He starts to run out there, he's coughing up blood. Next scenes we see all the Reavers battling the little kids. The little kids in this movie were OG. I didn't think that they were going to be that violent as Laura was. Bloody, one of the girls has ice power, she's breathing on him, chops off his arm. This girl picks up splinters with her fingers, explodes 2 dudes with them. This dude's shocking people's eyeballs out. I'm thinking, yo, these kids are OG. Finally, Dr. Rice is like, we can't let the kids pass the border, yada yada yada. Logan starts to get up there, he stops, and before he's hesitating not to take the entire bottle. Anyway, he puts it in. He turns on the younger Logan, starts going at it. All the kids are getting ambushed. It looks like it's a lost coast. Finally, Logan and Laura have this big team up with each other, tag teaming up. We get to the final scene. Here we go. Dr. Rice shows up. He's like, I think, he's like, you took the green juice because they found the bottle that they used, and Pierce has the boy that can lift objects like telepathically, and in this movie, I thought he was an a-hole. I thought he was more of an a-hole than, not than Dr. Rice. Dr. Rice was an automatic a-hole, but boy, like, this kid was an a-hole, and I'm gonna come back to that in a minute, but anyway, he's like, I think you knew my father. He was part of the Weapon X program. And he's like, yeah. He's like, he pumped me full of this metal that's killing me. And he's like, yeah. He sure did. And he's like, I think I killed him too. And I think that's why we saw that same scene back in X-Men Apocalypse with Wolverine escaping Stryker, like, the Stryker Lake and everything. And I was like, oh, okay, that's why. And he has a gun in his back pocket. He's about to shoot him. Boom! Shoots him through the neck, kills him. Shoots off Pierce's arm. He runs after him. Lets out X-24. They have this big battle. I'm like, no! Because they healed him up. Like, and I was thinking, I was like, I forgot. I was like, wait a minute, how the heck? Because I think I missed this part too. I was like, wait a minute, what? How is X-24 back? So apparently, I missed this. Before the Reavers go out to look for, before they go meet up with the kids and try to capture them, Dr. Rice takes out one of the green, doses Zach, and, like, heals all of them up. So that's how they're doing it. He starts to see him. X-24 is pinned down by Logan. I'm like, yes, kill him, Logan. He looks over, he sees Dr. Rice, and he's like, Pierce is like, yeah, he did that, kill him now. He's like, get up. Laura starts going at, like, every single Reaver they find, she gets done with them. And Logan gets kicked back, and Laura's, like, looking at X-24, and he's like, oh, yeah, you're messing with my daddy? Let's go! She goes square up with him. Dude, he backhand Laura. I'm like, yo, you messed up. Laura's going, stabbing his dude through the chest, through the eyeball, scraping all his crap up. Finally, the television boy lifts up the car, crushes X-24. The little kids, well, before this, Logan's struggling to get to Laura because he's like, Laura, stop, don't fight, don't fight. And, Pierce shoots Logan with the harpoon. I'm like, no! I'm like, come on, no! I like that the kids killed Pierce with all their powers. They snapped his neck, covered him up in grass and everything. X-24 gets out of the truck after it's been smashed on him. Logan's already looking pale. I'm like, this does not look good. X-24 grabs him. Laura starts to freak out. She gets the adamantium bullet that Logan gave her the night before she left. Gets the same gun that he had. My God, X-24 lifts him up, puts his entire body through a log. And at that moment, I burst out crying. And X-24 multiply stabs Logan. Finally, boop! Gets his head shot off. And I was like, wait a minute, what? I thought he had adamantium. No, he doesn't have adamantium. He has the adamantium claws, but he doesn't have the adamantium skeleton. That's why he can't heal that well. And he doesn't have a healing factor as well. So, Laura killed him. She chops Logan out of the log. She's sitting there crying. He's like, don't be what they made you. He's like, I need you to go with your friends now. In that moment, it felt like the scene in The Walking Dead Season 1 Telltale Games where Lee has been turned into a zombie. One of his arms is off. I mean, you have the option to chop off his arm, but he's sitting there, he's looking all pale, he's about to turn into a zombie. Clementine's there as a little girl. And you have the option to either kill Lee or leave him, but even though it's not like this in this movie, they still have the same dialogue. Laura's like, no, I don't want to leave you, please, no. And he's like, Logan's just sitting there like, Laura. And he says, Laura. I'm like, oh. And then she says, Daddy, I just went out and let the biggest, oh! Like, why are you doing this to me? Why are you pulling at my heart? And Logan's final last words. He says, so this is what it feels like. He means it in two different ways. He means it, this is what life feels like, having a family, friends. This is what it's been like. He means, oh, this is what it means to die. He grabs her hand and lets it go. And she's just saying, Daddy, Daddy. Finally, it comes to the burial scene. They bury him. Laura says the same lines as the Western movie that her and Charles were watching early in the film. And this is when that boy made me so mad. I stand up in my chair and I let out a big scream like, I was like, go screw yourself. I don't care if you he got shot in the movie and he got a broken arm as well. I don't care. I do not feel for this boy. Because when Logan and him first encounter, they're like rivals. And he's just a little boy. Anyway, they're at the funeral at Logan. And he's like telling everyone, he's like the boys, he's telling all the kids, he's like, we gotta get out of here. The girl, all Laura's friends touch her, like, sorry about your loss. Before Laura starts to walk, she picks up Logan's cross, turns it into an X. I just let out another whelp. I'm like, whoa! Oh! And then it ends with Logan. No claws popping out. No dirt rising up over the coffin. No end credits scene. My God. I knew Charles was gonna die. I was debating whether Logan was gonna die or not. Hugh Jackman said in an interview that this was his last time playing Logan, playing the Wolverine. After this movie, he's done. He ain't playing Logan no more. And usually Western films end with the cowboy, our hero, walking off or riding off into the sunset. Nope. Logan died. No end credit scene, no nothing. But I'm going to give this movie another round of applause. Action was on point, characters were on point, scenes were perfect. The acting was on point, the visual, the music, the lighting. It all went together. I don't count this as a superhero movie. I mean, it has superhero elements, but I don't count this as a superhero movie. There's only, I think I said one thing I did not, that I criticized about. One thing other. I know, and I'm glad they did not do this, because after watching it the 7th time, I realized that they did not need this. But I was thinking, there's more trucks out here with some of that green stuff in it. Go get it, resurrect him. Surely, you put 3 of those things in him, soup. But, didn't happen. But, after watching it the 7th time, I was like, we didn't need it. But yeah, that was my Logan movie review, breakdown, whatever you want to call this. I'm going to give this movie, I gave Spider-Man Homecoming 9 out of 10. I think I've changed it now. I think I put it as a 10 out of 10. I think I put Get Out as an 8 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10. I'm going to say this movie is a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Nothing was wrong with it, except for my 2 options that I wanted to change about the movie. Everything else, though, story-wise, characters, violence, all that, language, alcohol, titties, 10 out of 10. It's a great movie. It's a great freaking movie. Odd. I love this movie. This movie is one of the best. I know I said that I'm not going to count it as a superhero movie. I'm just going to say this right now. This is at my number 2 of favorite superhero movies. But, God. I hope I see Daphne Keane in the future playing Laura again. I don't want them to change her into a different actor. I want her to stay and play as Laura. 8, 7 more films are the same as Hugh Jackman did with this character, because God. I want to see Laura grow up as starting as a little girl, grow up into this woman, this older woman. But yeah, that was my movie review of Logan. I hope y'all did enjoy it. I know this is supposed to be a gaming movie type channel thing, and I do a lot of series on this channel, but this is one of my favorite series to do because you guys get to know a little bit more about me, what I like about a superhero movie, what I like about movies, because I'm a big movie person. And I could talk days and days about movies. What makes a movie good, what makes a good movie bad, what makes a movie fantastic. But this is a movie I'm going to be watching for a very long time. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do the next movie review. I don't know what it's going to be. It's probably going to be something awesome. But yeah, without further ado, but thank you guys for so much watching this video. If you liked it, follow that button, like a creeper, and like show some amazing comments, guys. Sorry, that was out of sync. And amazing comments, guys. Woo! And, oh god, I forgot my outro, guys. I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm not going to add this as a bloopers, though, but without further ado, thank you guys for so much watching this video. If you like the explode button, like a creeper, and let it show some amazing comments, guys. If this happens to be the first video you see me, then do subscribe and join Bubblecraft today for so much more. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye! And remember, always always imagine bigger.